Picture this. The year is 1152. King Stephen's soldiers drag a 5-year-old boy toward a giant wooden catapult outside Newbury Castle. The child screams in fear as soldiers prepare to launch him at the castle walls. This wasn't a game. The boy's own father, John Le Marchal, stood safely inside the fortress. When threatened with the child's execution, he coldly replied that he could always make better sons. That terrifying moment changed the boy forever. He learned early that survival in the medieval world depended on strength, skill, and becoming impossible to ignore. According to historical manuscripts about William Marshall, the boy survived the standoff after King Stephen called off the execution at the last moment. But his hardships were only beginning. As the fourth son in a noble family, William inherited almost nothing due to medieval inheritance laws. His older brother would receive the land and wealth, while younger sons had to find their own path. Sent to Normandy for training, William faced the harsh reality that becoming a knight required enormous wealth. War horses, armor, and weapons were extremely expensive, and he had little financial support. To rise above his circumstances, William trained relentlessly in combat and entered dangerous medieval tournaments, where knights competed for prizes, ransom money, and reputation. These contests were brutal and chaotic, testing both skill and endurance. William eventually partnered with another knight, Roger de Gaugy, and together they became highly successful competitors on the tournament circuit. Their strategy and discipline helped them earn wealth, fame, and respect across Europe. Against impossible odds, the frightened child who once faced death at a catapult would later become one of the most respected knights of the Middle Ages.
Laws. The oldest brother got the castle, the land, and the gold. Younger brothers got the door. Imagine turning 18 today. Your parents hand their entire net worth to your older sibling, and you get kicked out onto the street with $0 and a pat on the back. William had no inheritance, and no powerful last name to shield him. Sent to Normandy to train as a squire, he faced brutal economic realities. A knight's gear required staggering capital. A trained medieval destrier, the primary warhorse, cost the modern equivalent of a heavily armoured military vehicle, easily soaring past $100,000 today. Add the chainmail, the swords, and the squires needed to maintain them, and you're looking at massive financial debt. William had absolutely nothing. He had to finance his own rise through extreme calculated violence. He spent his teenage years mastering the medieval equivalent of mixed martial arts, learning to strike fast and absorb punishing blows. Honestly, think about how insane that pressure is. One bad parry during practice, one broken bone, and his career was over before it began. He could not afford to be average. He needed cash, quickly, and swinging a wooden sword in a dusty courtyard paid exactly $0. To survive, William had to enter the most dangerous blood-soaked startup economy of the Middle Ages, like tournaments. There were no neatly painted fences, no polite ladies dropping handkerchiefs, and absolutely no organised jousting matches. In the 1160s, the tournament circuit was a massive, chaotic free-for-all spread across miles of open countryside. Hundreds of heavily armed men rode into forests, villages, and muddy fields to beat each other senseless. The objective was entirely financial. You smash a guy off his horse, put a blade to his throat, and legally steal his warhorse, his armour, and his cash ransom. This brutal arena was the ultimate startup economy for a broke, hungry younger son like William. He eventually teamed up with a knight named Roger de Gaugy, forming a highly lucrative, violent business partnership. They operated like armoured bounty hunters. Instead of charging blindly into the centre of the crushing melee, they stalked the edges of the battlefield. They watched rich aristocrats exhaust themselves swinging heavy iron weapons. Once a target was exhausted, William and Roger swooped in, overpowered the noble,